All right, click the links to join the channel here on Subscribe Star. Thanks to everyone who has supported the tech fund. So I think the left wing kind of moderate, semi woke crowd, as they get older, they get a little bit less woke statistically. And when you have kids, you get way less woke, get way more conservative. They're starting to realize, like, oh, the woke train. It's time to slow it down, and we could kind of stop it where we are, and realize, oh, we're trying to slow down a train that has no brakes and is going downhill and on greased tracks. And you get the idea. They're looking around. They're starting to kind of vaguely understand that something else is going on. So Disney Plus wants to know the users, all the users, age and gender, so that it can target ads to them allegedly, um, or do other things. First, why would you have Disney Plus for your kids, or why would you support Disney in any way at all? Yes, I know it's the electric babysitter, and there's a transition period when you take when you change something in the family, you take the kids off of TV and tablets and stuff. Yes, it takes a month of a transition period. It is what it is. But Disney is evil. This isn't 1990s Disney. In our day, what were we watching? Reel to reels, right? That was like the silent Disney cartoons. If you had a reel to reel, so modern Disney is a spiritual vampire. It's not harmless. Letting your kids watch any modern show is just handing them over to these cultural Marxists to be absolutely brainwashed. I thought the brainwashing was bad when we were kids. The current bullshit, and you look back on it, people our age go, "Oh, what are you even talking about? It wasn't that bad?" Think back to it. Think back to it. Think of who was the protagonist, who was the antagonist, and you start looking back and go, "Oh, it was back then just as well." It wasn't in everything like it is now, but it was there. The subtle theme was there just as well. If they had to make someone a little, the fall guy a little stupid and incompetent to laugh at somebody, it's like you knew who that was going to be. And some people were always the targets, and other people were off limits. Like, you can always make fun of blondes. Like, you ever wonder where that started? Don't say anything in the comments. So the current Bolshevik programming is mask off. Yes, YouTube knows all your dog whistles. They're pushing kids to literally take pharmaceuticals. Thanks, Teva Pharmaceuticals. And change the probability of them reproducing in the future permanently. All the streaming platforms are, and Sackler Pharmaceuticals. Thank you to those two companies. All the streaming platforms are evil. I honestly consider it child abuse to let your kids be exposed to any of this. There needs to be a big national push to get kids back to books and away from tablets and TV. Though, I think about big national pushes. So in the past 3 years, with the health issues that have come down, it's like one of the comorbidity issues was adipose tissue percentages, so to speak. And you think, oh, that's like in the '80s with Reagan and Schwarzenegger doing a big health thing. It's eat less, and we'll have a healthier path forward. And you look around, and you're like, oh well, yeah, that's not going to come from anyone in office. Like, it seems that, but that's an important issue, is the health. It's like obesity is one of the issues that goes along with pulmonary issues. Shouldn't we try to just convince people to start eating less? Yeah, yeah. This isn't the country. This isn't the country that you were raised in. So the cancer that we were exposed to in our day was subtle for sure, but now they want BLT kids and to turn them into catamites. There are other words to describe what's going on, to describe these people, but don't use them in the comments because YouTube is watching all the wrong thinkers. So the right has already stopped paying for Disney, but the left didn't realize that Disney won't ever stop because there's no arrival for this train. It just keeps going. It's a journey. It's not a destination. You'll never be woke enough. You give an inch, they take a mile. It's never enough. The right already knows this. The far right knew this a long time ago. And the left is slowly awakening to this. So BLM, where did that $2 billion go? Oh, nobody's going to ask that question. Like, really? The media is not going to ask that question? And the district attorney's office is not going to ask that question? That seems like the bigger issue, is that when nobody's investigating the thing that needs to be investigated, who are Maxwell's clients? That's weird. Weird that nobody's asking these questions. Anyway, so they're brainwashing kids and re-engineering society to recreate. I mean, this is really where you have to get on Telegram, Odyssey, Bit Chute, and Gab for sure. Just a good way to keep in touch as the main platforms shift. And they're re-engineering society to recreate it in the image that they envision. The Lucifer's abode. So you've got these sleeping normies who are starting to realize, Sean Smith, starting to realize that something is systemically wrong, that they're not in charge, that the government runs their schools. What is it? Buttigieg was just coming out the other day and talking about how teachers in the school board, Weingarten's school board knows better how to raise kids than the parents. You look at this like, oh, this is not headed to it's not headed to a good place. Friends, we're already in a very bad place. I mean, some people see it for sure. And demons run pop culture. Those aren't public schools. Those are government schools. You elect a clown, you get a circus. So they pay for Disney. So they're drinking the Kool-Aid in that regard, but they're starting to hear the warning bells. That I heard those warning bells with the compelled pronoun thing years ago. I started to think like, ooh, I don't know if this is a good idea. I can't quite articulate. I haven't given a thought, but like getting people to say something that isn't the truth and then to punish them if they don't speak a lie seems to me to lead to a very Orwellian place. And as we go along, those alarm bells have just gotten cacophony. So to complain gets them labeled a wrong thinker on social media. So that, yikes, my guy, bad take, protect trans kids from you guys. That's who we're protecting kids from you guys. How about that? Because the narrative is that people who don't want kids exposed to this are Trump, DeSantis, Hugo Boss types, because only bigots don't give their kids estrogen and then sterilize them. So Disney wants to target ads to your kids, but also to let them know that they can be more than male or female. The whole framework of the argument presupposes the validity of these other options. It's the pronoun issue. We don't believe in anything other than a binary, and they want to compel us to speak their dialectic and give it validity. To fuck the draft and live free or die, if you remember those cases that came out in the 70s and 80s. Compelled speech to speak a belief that is not in accord with your own belief is one thing, but to say something that is not in accord with reality is like, oh, don't worry, we're just going to reshape language to make it in accord with reality, because dictionaries aren't on paper anymore. They don't evolve slowly. It's like the ADL can just reshape the digital reality overnight. And then if they get too much pressure, they shape it back. It's like, so did they shape the underlying reality? Yes or no? It's kind of a longer issue. Though I will say that their people are kind of running out of patience with that, with being told what to do by the... Anyway, so click the links to join us over on Subscribestar and various Telegram and whatnot, and I'll see you guys all next episode.